All right, let's get into the flip.
All right, but because we're in person, we're going to do this flip a little bit differently. All right. First of all, normally we do one topic, but since we're going to be in person, we're going to do a little Texas theme here. We're going to add a little spice. We're going to add a little sausage to the theme. Everybody likes when we talk about the sausage. We're going to go from mild to wild. We're going to have 3 topics. I'm going to have you flip a coin in a minute. When you flip a coin, it's going to be heads, and you're going to be for each of these topics. If it's tails, you're going to be against, and I have to be for all these topics. And differently than our normal show that everybody out there enjoys so much, this isn't going to be like a 6-minute debate from each side. We're going to do like a minute each on each topic. I'm going to win each of them. Pat's going to go crawling into the darkness, and then we will get to our bulls and bears. But this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a little different because why not? Because when in Rome or Austin or wherever the heck we are, right?
Exactly. I think this is chocolate. I might eat it afterwards. We'll see.
You look like you. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on. Come on.
I ate a few too many of these. Oh, what is it?
It's heads.
It's
That
heads,
means
baby.
You're 4.
I am
each
4.
thing, and so the Super Bowl here that doesn't believe there's a bubble, that doesn't even believe that there's a possibility that one company's overvalued. I do think there could be one. Has to argue against. This is gonna be hard for me. It'll be hard for me. All right, let's bring out the
Don't
sausage.
argue anything.
Let's bring out the sausage.
Yeah, so the topic is essentially custom silicon will overtake merchant silicon AI within 3 years. And let's say it's units versus revenue.
Are we gonna bring out the mild?
Let's go with the mild, baby.
Silicon sovereignty, the great decoupling as custom AI chips reshape the cloud.
So Daniel, this just pretty much nails it, right? We've got all of these cloud companies developing all of this silicon. I mean, we've got OpenAI, we've got Google, we've got Microsoft, we've got AWS, and even Apple here. Like, and there's really nobody left. Is anybody else relevant after that?
Look, maybe 10 or 20% of the market. We think that's true. We'll go custom, but the big GPUs, the big rack scale systems, those are going to win. The entire software ecosystem has been optimized for the big merchants and especially for CUDA. So look, I believe that there's going to be some custom chips, but it's not going to make a massive dent. Those headlines, every headline is, oh, this is going to take down Nvidia. The only company that's got $500 billion of revenue for this year lined up in terms of bookings is Nvidia. The entire rest of the market's not that big if you add it all together.
All right, well, let's jack up the heat here. We're going to DEFCON 3 here.
I want the medium. The first one wasn't bad, but it wasn't spicy enough for me.
Google debuts AI chips with 4x performance boost. Secures Anthropic mega deal worth billions.
All right, this is clearly TPU v7, and the numbers are there. 4x the performance boost. Google TPU is not just for Google. It's now for Anthropic, and oh, by the way, OpenAI also signed a deal as well. So we're kind of going from abstract to very precise. And how can you possibly turn down a 4x improvement in performance?
I mean, look, it's pretty simple. Google wants to make sure it secures its wafer capacity from TSMC. Why not shill its product onto a few other customers so they can get a little more demand, fund their efforts, get enough wafer capacity so that they can do what they do. It's good business. It's not going to take off at scale, but this again just backs my thesis of everything that can be built will be sold. I don't know if it has as much to do with the performance as it simply has to do with the fact that right now there's just tons of demand for AI chips. You want to get hot?
Well, let's get hot.
That one was actually pretty hot.
No, it was.
Ming Chi Kuo. Apple will get serious about AI server chips in 2026.
The color of this thing itself has me a little bit alarmed about whether I should try it.
So it was one thing for Google to do its own silicon for its own workloads. And then the next wave is Google doing its own silicon for other people's workloads, including OpenAI, including Anthropic, including its enterprise customers. But now you have the company who is absolutely dead last from the mega caps doing its own silicon for itself. And to me, this just gets us to the point where we're kind of that third wave of customers, the people you would have never expected to do their own silicon would go do that. And I think this is the greatest example that custom silicon in 3 years from a unit volume basis will overtake merchant silicon within 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a nice idea, but Apple, it's probably looking to take margin out. It's Tim Cook. That's his best idea of his entire career has been to vertically integrate everything and take out margin. I mean, who's they going to need this chip for? They can't build any models. They really don't need it. I mean, they build all their own chips. It works great in their consumer and in their device platforms. I think in their AI chip world, it's a dream and it's a dumb one. So I know they don't like Nvidia, but they should probably use it and maybe build a model that someone actually thinks is any good.
It was a good conversation.
I think they did it. And by the way, did this prove that we can actually have debates that are a lot shorter and we just like hearing ourselves talk? Because I think we both got to the point a lot quicker.
Either that or we like to eat.
Yeah. That red one, though,
Doesn't even look healthy.
it just looks, yeah. But the first one was really good. I'm still kind of gnawing on that
So
one.
by the way, now that we're having a real discussion right now, what's happening is, at least we know Nvidia is sub-segmenting its workloads, right?
Yeah.
Started with CPX, which was for decode, use Nvidia GPUs for prefill.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got this Grok thing for some very high speed, low HBM type of scenario, super fast, right? So they're reinventing themselves in order to get up against that. What we haven't heard yet is what AMD is going to do.
Yeah.
Right? They very much have the capability to crank something out there really good at multi-chip SoCs, but we haven't heard a thing out of them yet.
How much do they want to potentially cannibalize Helios, too? Because, I mean, this stuff does influence, even if they are, like, optimized for different things, it in some cases, especially like NVIDIA, that's part of the reason I think Jensen ran away from it is, like, it does inference pretty well. Is it good to find that lower cost? But I think everyone's seeing the volume, and they're realizing that, like, we do have to have different economics across the chain. Now, you know me, I mean, I've been probably one of the most public saying that XPUs are going to be very big. And we actually have XPU growth crossing over GPU growth in 2027 in terms of growth of revenue in those businesses. Having said that, the growth is coming from a much smaller base. So it's, the actual total size of market, GPUs have come down, but by that point, they're going to be running, that whole, and again, it's not even just GPUs anymore. It's really, people have to understand it's a system at this point. Nobody's just buying a GPU anymore. In most cases, they're buying these rack scale clusters. They're networking chips. There's CPU chips from ARM and other platforms. And of course, then there's the accelerators themselves. So the mechanics of measuring this stuff has gotten very different than when we started, when we were just counting hoppers, right? I mean, Pat, even with the Vera NVL72, now we're even talking about 2 GPUs per package. And they say 72, it's actually twice as many GPUs as Blackwell. And by the way, super confusing. That I've asked like 8 questions about it and I still don't have really great answers, but whatever.
I think we both knew that this would happen. I mean, there would be different silicon doing different 100%. Things. You hit the efficiency levels, the amount of power that it needs to take, and you're talking about tens of billions of dollars in data center. Something had to break, and it did. Yes. All right, Daniel. I appreciate you letting me beat you, but it is time to meet. It is time to go
ahead and send in the comments who you think won those debates. It's DANIEL NEWMAN, in case anyone has spelling issues.
Are you sure it's not BICEPS?
Ooh.
Okay.
I had to translate that.